Mm. Let's dive into it. Let's get the Shelfies over with. We'll have a little intermission and go from there. Okay. First things first. We have. Dun, 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 dun. Come on. Oh, I got to click over here, don't I? I do. There we go. Oh. See, this is Brute 43 from Old Nation Brewery. This is basically their M43, but it was given the Brett treatment with the Brett, the enzyme for Brett beers. I love this beer. I did, man. And for me to actually put a Brett beer on my favorite beers, Shelfies or otherwise, is kind of kooky because it's not necessarily my favorite treatment when it comes to how beers are produced and how beers are done. But man, did I love that goddamn beer. It was so tasty. And the fact that it was like lower sweetness, and just overall just a fun beer. I want to tilt this a little bit, get a little bit right here. There we go. How about that? Maybe a little bit back. That works for me. It was just awesome. And you know, it was low in like carbs and it wasn't huge in calories. It's almost like one of those kind of light beers, but in a very tasty way. And for some reason I loved it. I chugged the shit out of it this year. I think I bought like maybe like 3 or 4 packs randomly because I believe it was a one-time release. So it's not like it was sitting around as something that was around year round. I think it's a rotational or seasonal release, but I love the beer. I loved it. It was absolutely fantastic. And it was just something to like, you'll see a big theme in my Shelfie beers, and that a lot of them have to do with kind of low ABV chuggers, the stuff that I really want to drink and just not way heavy and I could drink a bunch of. And that beer was just awesome, man. Look at that thing. Soft haze to it. It just even looks drinkable from a distance, even on this kind of like little frame over here. So yeah, it was an absolutely fantastic beer. And honestly, a lot of people really do dig on Old Nation. You know, even in chat here, we have Bill Bach just catching up saying, what's up, guys? But, you know, we have Oak Ridge saying, love M43. And I love the base too. I love M43 as a Shelfie in itself. It might have made my Shelfies last year, actually. But the Brett version just, so good. And yeah, Greg Corner saying, yeah, Boss Street is the best from Old Nation. I like that. I like M43 because it's a smaller beer. Boss Street is a little bit too big for me to kind of get all hot and bothered over, but it was definitely a fantastic beer. Up next, and this one kind of surprised me because I was whittling through the list. I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to put on there, but I kept kind of whittling the Shelfie list down and down and down, and his beer just never went away. Samuel Smith's Oatmeal Stout. This MFN beer is so good. Like, I find it everywhere. I know a couple of people said, I can't find this beer. But good God, man, was this beer absolutely fantastic. Like, I honestly, like, I had it and I kind of wanted to kick my own ass for not drinking it more often. You know, and obviously, you know, beer, you can get a little romantic with beer and you can get a little bit of like, oh, this is just falling in love with the classicness of this beer or whatever. Or maybe I did this review outside. Maybe it was a nice chilly day and the stout was kind of doing me proper. I don't fucking know. All I know, it was fantastic. And it was just one of those seminal classics that you run across that you rarely ever purchase again. It's like, you know, I do it all the time, and I'm sure you guys are guilty of this yourselves, is that you'll go through and you'll look for new stuff and then you'll scan and you'll go across something that you'll know without a doubt you will absolutely love to no end. But you go, I'll buy that next time. Every time you go around it, but there is no next time. You're always looking for something new. We all fall into that culture of trying different stuff. It's not even a matter. It's not even a matter of a kind of a ticking thing. It's not an untapped thing. It's just we like to try different things, and you never get back to those classics. And when you do, you remember why you love them so much. And that happens to me, you know, every now and then, you know, especially during Christmas time, getting closer to Christmas time, I drink a lot of the classics, some Belgian darks, you know, Celebrator comes to mind every time I have that beer. I realize how fantastic it is. And it's just one of those beers where I was just like, I'm an asshole for not drinking it more, to be perfectly honest. Not that I drink big stouts on the constant, you know, but it is an absolutely fantastic beer. Going to keep rolling through these comments while we're doing these. Joe's Beer Reviews chime in saying, hey guys, was that a special art on a label? Does not look like that here. I think this might be an updated version. I don't think it's a special art. I think maybe some of the older bottles have a little bit of correct me if I'm wrong, it's a black label, like inverted. But I don't think this was a special bottle by any stretch of the imagination. Thomas saying Mattception, that's how we roll, son. And George chiming in again saying we do have plenty of Sammy out here. And honestly, if you haven't picked this beer up, this beer, more specifically the Yorkshire Stingo, that's probably my favorite Sammy Smith's of all time. Yeah, go check it out, man. Pick it up because it's been so long since you've had it. You might be surprised at how good the goddamn beer is. So next up, what do we have? Oh, this is I just did this one the other day. Did I post this review? Yeah, I posted it. Good thing. All of a sudden I thought, oh my god, maybe I didn't post this beer. You know what we're dealing with there. You can't have a Shelfie list without a little bit of fucking Jenny, baby. We got to get some Genesee up in this piece. Let's get that pour going so you can see how golden delicious that sucker is. Man, this beer is... I bought this beer as a kind of haha. Not a haha that I didn't think it was good, but like... And I forgot it was Dundee's Honey Brown, which is what it used to be name-wise. And I just remember it for my past drinking days. And I bought the sixer... And let's put it this way. I bought a sixer of this to review. And this is where some of you guys might call me out for being fake, because this happens every now and then. Every now and then I'll say, oh, I'm just having this beer for the first time. But I bought a sixer of this beer, and I meant to review it, but I drank it too fast. I just drank the beers way too fast. And I was like, that was so good. So I went and got another sixer of it and reviewed it. Actually, no, I think this review I did record it at the beginning. Because I think I did a re-review forgetting that I reviewed it before. That happens. But man, there was something about this that just tickled me pink. It was basically all the things that make me love Jenny Cream Ale, but that honey kind of dollop on it. Sure, it's not a cream ale. It's a bit more of a kind of darker, not even darker lager. It's like a Vienna lager with that little bit of honey in it. And it just, man, it was just so pretty. And honestly, $5.99 a six pack. That's the one thing I want to keep in mind too. So, because I can go get a fucking 3 Fontaine off the shelf right now. I can get a Magnum of that for like $58. I'm not going to fucking do that as a Shelfie. I'm not that big of a fucking asshole. Maybe, but not right now. But the way this beer kind of came off and its price point and all the things that made this beer absolutely fantastically glorious. Oh, fucking Jenny. I love Jenny. Look at me. Look, I can tell how happy as I can't even hear myself. Joe chimes in. I've had the M43 Pale Ale. Nice indeed. I remember having 2 of them. Could there be a double or triple IPA? Yeah, Boss Tweed and something else were quite nice. But the one I had was the B43. Which is the Brut version of the M43, which they're probably both the same in my book, but I had the M43 on last year's Shelfies. And Kyle chiming in, I expected to see Evil Twin Fruited Sour. I said, what was that? The gold, one of the gold bars on it or something like that? Man, that thing was hot garbage. If I had a shitty list, that thing would have been on that shit list. Yeah, maybe that's why Yep was yelling at me the other day on fucking Instagram, freaking out. I don't know. Let's see, what do we got next? I didn't forget. Oh, this fucking beer. So I was sent this beer. Who sent me this beer? Max Jerome. Who was it? Oh, man. I forget who sent me this beer. But I ended up finding it locally. And I drank the shit out of these. And this is the OEC lager. Me and Keith did our side-by-side on this one, where we did our side-by-side of the golden lager versus the black lager. I think Keith liked the black lager a little bit. I like the golden lager a bit more. Man, these are awesome. So we reviewed them, and I was like, okay, that was great. Thank you for sending these off. Who sent these off again? God damn it. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting who sent these off. But we both were absolutely gaga over this. And like literally like 3 days later, I went to a bottle shop, and they had cans of these. And I was like, fuck yeah. I started ripping cans of these out of a cooler for, I think I bought over the course of a month or so, about 3-4 packs of the golden lager, man. Oh my God, that shit was so good. So good. And and you know, to get this kind of beer on a shelfie. And that's the thing, like I kind of at first I was like, should I include it in Shelfies because you know it's OEC and it's kind of fancy, but I had someone send it to me and I found it locally on a shelf and I believe they got it off a shelf too, so it makes Shelfie status for me. This is my rules. I get to make these rules. They're my channel. So Max, there you go. Max is the one who sent it to me. Steven says, see, people remember shit and I don't. Joe chiming in for a Trey Fontaine, nice. Yeah, we got quite a bit of that on the shelf around here now. And beers from Douglas busting his ass on 2Ts. I don't care about that. I just like to make fun of it because I think it's something fun. Hopefully it doesn't come off too pretentious. But look at Keith. Look at Keith's glorious mustache and Bomb Police shirt. He's like just a greasy, delicious. I love Keith. And one last chime. Jumping in here before we go to the next video. Cheers, Matt. Just want to chime in and say, over quarantine, I really fell in love with Forest Amin, and I've heard you say good things about them. You kind of tipped me off. Much love. Very much, dude. I love Forest Amin. I wish I can go there more often. I don't get down to the Philly area. For those that don't know, Forest Amin is just outside of North Philly. And they're really nice. They're not that far off of the Turnpike Exchange, like you know, where the Turnpike kind of meets in Philly with the Pennsylvania Turnpike and the Northeast Extension are like kind of right off that. So they're easy on and off for a brewery. And there's a couple good breweries in and around the area. So they're definitely worth checking out. And another reason I haven't gone is because really, if I'm going to Forest Amin, I'm going there and I'm drinking. Listen, they have a cask system with like 8 cask ales on and they're all sub 5%. When I go there, I drink beer. I don't just run in, grab some beer and bounce. I want to chug some beers. Can't do that during COVID times, or you shouldn't be doing that during COVID times, regardless if you can or not. So hence that. Next up, this beer surprised the fuck out of me because I picked this up at a little podunk little bottle shop that it's the closest place I could purchase beer to where I live. Let's put it that way. It's 5 minutes away from where I live. They carry a couple okay beers, nothing too crazy, but they carry some old school jammers. This Plaid Habit from Boulevard was fucking ridiculous. Like I was, and the thing is, it's so funny because I dove into it kind of like, okay, like hopefully this is good because the last few look at me dumping it in there like an asshole. The last few Boulevards I've had, the Barrel Aged series kind of left me a little bit wanting. I've always kind of dug them as one of the more kind of under the radar, really well done kind of barrel age programs, but the last few of them just, I don't know, didn't sit right with me. They weren't bad beers, they just kind of lacked that kind of barrel character that typically I enjoy to no end. And really this one, those left me wanting. This one I kind of didn't go in a preconceived notion, but you kind of have those kind of ideas when you jump into these beers. This was pretty fantastic. The nose wasn't crazy, it was fun, but man, did it taste fantastic. And just to pick something like this up for like, I think I paid $4 for it at a place that is 3 miles away from my house. That's what I call ultimate shelfie status. Ultimate shelfie status. An absolutely fantastic beer. And like I said, Boulevard, you might not get them. They might not distribute throughout the whole country, but if you get, you know, Boulevard stuff in your area, chances are you're going to see their barrel age program. It's not like they just do just a barrel age program. So yeah, fantastic goddamn beer. Up next, we don't have any extra comments to go to right now. This one was good. Yeah, a little choppy from Mass Landing. Mass Landing gets a super wide distribution footprint here in New Jersey. They kind of, like, I've had a couple of their beers, you know, starting off, I've had their Gunner's Daughter, and I've had a couple kind of beers sent to me, or had friends kind of go up to the Portland, Maine area and pick up some of their stuff. And then all of a sudden, boom, distro went crazy. And I think it was pre-COVID too. It wasn't like necessarily COVID caused that beer to come down here. And we started seeing stuff, but it was mostly Gunner's Daughter and a couple other things. But then I saw this not too long ago. When did I review this beer? July 16th. So, you know, about 6 months ago. And I loved it. It just had that low ABV crushability. I figured that it's like sub 5%, I believe. Session kind of hazy. They're pretty much wheelhouse, my favorite kind of beer when it comes to kind of just drinking beer. And it did not disappoint. Like, I loved it to no end. It was absolutely delicious and kind of like the perfect kind of chugger beer. Look at me spilling shit everywhere. Man, I'm such an asshole. And yeah, actually, even Mass Landing is like, hey man, we fucking saw a little choppy review, and they wrote me and said, hey, thank you very much for the kind words. They said, hey, we're gonna send you off a bunch of beer. And I said, thank you, and they never sent anything, but whatever, it is what it is. I don't do this to be sent beer, but yeah, I loved it. I mean, Shelfie status, fucking chuggers, well done. I mean, Mass Landing's kind of portfolio across the board is pretty fantastic. I don't think I've had a bad beer from them, and Gunner's Daughter, which I mentioned this a couple times, was on the Shelfies list last year. So you're talking about breweries making it 2 years in a row with Shelfie beers. What do you want, man? It's fantastic stuff. Let's see. Jump into some comments before going to the next video. We have Felix chiming in saying hello, Matt. Hello, Felix. He's up in Canada way. We have Stuart chiming in saying picked up that Boulevard Three Floyds barley wine. Try picking up that okay. I'll see if I can track it down. What's it called again? Put it in here so I can. I think I've actually seen it, but I didn't pick it up. I'll try though. That Plaid Habit was solid for sure. I don't know if it was mine. And here's the other thing: the place that I get, I don't know how much they do Plaid Habit. I don't know if it's a seasonal rotational. Mine might have had time on it because the place I get stuff from, typically their beers are mad old, so it might have had a couple years on it already, which might have enhanced the beer a little bit based off of the newer ones. Go on to the next one. This I actually was absolutely blown away that I picked up off a shelf, and I thought it was a random like accident, but then I've been seeing it, so it's a constant now. Fucking Philhead, just Philhead IPA. I got Philhead IPA off a shelf in New Jersey. How many times do you ask? Like 3 times so far since I reviewed this, which was November. Well, I posted November. It was probably like a month earlier. I reviewed it. This is now a Shelfie. How is this beer a fucking Shelfie? This is by far and away the best bang for your buck hazy. I shouldn't say that. There's one better than this, but I think this is, what's the ABV on Fiddlehead? I forget what the ABV is on Fiddlehead. Okay, I forget what the actual ABV on this, because that's where this really comes down to a contest. 6.2. So it's it's probably the best Shelfie IPA that I think I've had. One of the best I had in general over the course of all these. This is like the 6th time I've done these awards, and it was fantastic. This is up there with and I even want to put it in like, Cane Sneak Box is like one of my, I rarely don't have Cane Sneak Box in my fridge. It's one of my favorite Shelfies. Even that's only 5.4, so it's even a little bit lower ABV. But man, just to even find this beer, having kind of had Philhead, muled to me, and to go purchase it myself and really dig the brewery as a whole, to see this not just available in New Jersey, but just cooler turning it up. Good on you, New Jersey, for not throwing us in shelves. I've yet to see it on the shelf. It's always in a cooler, which is nice. But man, it's such a great, impactful, robust kind of IPA from one of the better breweries that have done it. Let's put it that way. Let's see. And we are getting towards, we're on to number 3. Number 3, we're ripping through these. I'm kind of digging this. Number 3, this beer. I fucking love this beer. I've picked this beer up several times already, and the best part about it is I don't think time is going to do this improperly in any form or fashion. And that be Edmund's Oast. It's their extra special Sichuan, not Szechuan, Sichuan, dark mild. This beer is so amazing. I've seen it a couple places, but it's really the one place I ripped these off of the shelf. And I just got a comment. I can't wait to click on it. Yeah, I mean, this beer is absolutely fantastic. It is a dark mild. What was it in again? It's the English style ale with Sichuan peppercorns added. So whatever those Sichuan peppercorns did, it added a lemon characteristic to this English dark mild. I never thought about that combination before. That lemon characteristic in the English dark mild. Thinking about it, now, even knowing this beer works is kind of like, I don't know if that'll work. It was lemon pepper. It makes sense, but, man, was that beer good. And every time I go to that one place I know has had it, every time I've gone there, maybe they probably got a case of it, and I'm probably the only dude that ever buys it. I pick a 4-pack up, and it is absolutely fucking Fantastic. Excuse me, a little burp there. And it's probably one of the best beers I had all year. I should have probably included this on my best ofs, to be perfectly honest with you. And that's kind of where it gets hard sometimes with some of these kind of top of the list Shelfies. And that, yeah, it's just that good. It's just that good. And oddly enough, I bumped the next beer. I actually bumped from my favorites into the Shelfies, assuming it's a Shelfie. I didn't even know it's a Shelfie, but I'm pretty sure it was. So that's why I went from that list to this list. So yeah, if you guys see this beer, if you like English Miles, if you like flavorful beer and you like just unique beer, just pick it up, man, because it is bonkers. Bonkers. Will Coyle chiming in saying pineapple smoosh. Pineapple smoosh, baby, or peach smoosh. I still have a can of peach smoosh in my fridge, by the way. Oh man, that's just horrid. It says Stuart says it's called Deep Flux Barley Wine. Agreed. Boulevard can be hit or miss, but this one's really good. I never felt put out by Boulevard though, because their bottles are reasonably priced. Always great. They're kind of like the East Coast version of, or Midwest, I guess, was the version of Lagunitas, even though Lagunitas has a Midwest place. You know what I'm talking about. Next up, yeah, Wilson. I got this from my boy Oak Ridge. He actually gave this to me in a little drop he did. I'm assuming he got this off of the shelf, and this is their I can never say that word. I know how to say it. Brown ale, and this shit was super good. Like super good. I'm pretty sure this is a Shelfie because I actually mispronounced where they were from. I thought they were from down south. They're actually from up north. I forget the area, but like the New England area. And then a couple of the guys that do the YouTube stuff and from up that way saying, yeah, man, they actually get not much play up that way. And this is just such a great beer. I mean, this belonged, again, this beer, and it's probably the top 3 beers really did belong on my best of top 20, but that shit I had to whittle down like a madman. So I had to kick some off. These top 3 essentially got kicked off. And since they were technically, from what I know, at least 1 and 3 were Shelfies that I picked up personally. And I believe this one was a Shelfie also. They immediately, yeah, see Oak Ridge, that's what I'm waiting for. So you got it at a pizzeria in Derry. If you're buying it at a goddamn pizzeria, it's called a Shelfie. Thank you very much. And the beer was amazing. Like, honestly, it's like, the beer was so good. Like, one of the top 20 beers I reviewed this past year. Let's put it that way. Top 23. Top 22. Let's put it that way. Not really. We'll see. Anyway. But it's worth every penny. And just an absolutely fantastic beer. Man, good God. Someone just texted me. Let's see what's going on here. Oh, my wife's playing a game with the family. There you go. I'm playing a game with the internet. Let's see. Man, my dog here. Taco's fucking shouting like a madman. Anyway, let's wrap this sucker up. Before we dive into the last one, anybody want to venture a guess? I'll give it a minute or so. I got to crack another beer anyway. Venture a guess at my number 1 Shelfie beer. I got a sack of beer right here for you, by the way. Should I break into the Coors and Dock? Should I do that yet? What do I want to drink? Well, you guys venture a guess. I kind of think I want to drink the fucking Coors and Dock. It's 8.1. I don't want to fuck with 8.1 right now. Let's see. 8%, no. Maybe we'll do this little Burlington Jammer. 6.5. Get a little haziness up in this piece. Actually, half of the shit in here is hazy. Carrie's BBB. I used to have a best friend called Triple B, so that name kind of rings with me. It's not a crispy. It's not a crispy. I'll whittle it down. It's a hazy. A low ABV hazy. And I've talked to people on here before about this beer being like just super accessible, low ABV haze. What's the ABV on this beer that I'm going to be calling out here? I actually just said it. I can't. I'm speaking out loud. What the hell is it called? What the hell is the ABV or name of the beer called? Oh, I got it typed right here, asshole. Let's see. I ruined it by speaking it out loud because I'm a dumb and I can't help myself. And it is 5.4%, so that qualifies. Anyway, anybody else want to venture a guess? You're gonna get a guess as long as I take a sip of this beer. Then we're actually kicking on it. At least somebody tried to guess. That's nice. This is really Burlington. I got off a shelf in New Jersey. There it is. See, Steven heard me mention it. That's the beer. So let's just dive into it, and you guys can talk about it. Marlowe's eager to share. I believe it's a different can art now. But man, that was my kind of crusher. You know, I mean, that is just beer. That's like, it's a hazy. Listen, I love barley wine. I love Pilsner. I love Kolsch. But a low ABV hazy really is kind of some of my favorite things to chug. It is, because you're getting, a relatively low ABV. You're getting a impact. You're getting, and when they're done really well, the low ABV, you're getting a dryness to them. And while crispies are great, this beer was just a ridiculous level of deliciousness at a decent price point and just available. Like, it wasn't like I saw this on the shelf every single place I went, but the places that carried Marlowe, this was a common rotation, and to get this level of haziness, this level of deliciousness, was fucking awesome. You know what I mean? Yeah. There you go. That's number one. Number one with a bullet too, man. I dug this. Like I said, this beer is worthy of being on my favorite beers I reviewed over the past year. But I had to whittle that fucker down. When we get to that list, a lot of people are going to be angry because I had to make some fucking decisions on this list. Because I said, I'll just do 20. And then I realized it like compartmentalized, or crushing it and compacting it down. The 20 was way too fucking difficult. I'm trying to read off my sheet here about some beers that I had on my list too. We'll let this play, but I'll talk about some of my other Shelfies, kind of honorable mentions that didn't make the list. I was mentioned in the chat, the Logston Saison Bretta. I thought that was fantastic. I picked up a aged Spencer off a shelf and I thought that was really fun. Carton Fruista Italian Pilsner was on that list. Actually, Palmer Pils is on there. I think Palmer Pils coming back for the first time in a long time and having it. It really was a fantastic beer. Narragansett Fresh Catch wasn't the most amazing beer in history of mankind, but to get a 6-pack of Little Citra chuggers for like $8 is just worthy of a mention in and of itself. Thin Man, the Pils Mafia. I enjoyed that for a couple different reasons. One, it was a good Pils, and two, the Patriots aren't in playoffs, so go Bills. I'm a Dolphins fan. You should hopefully make the playoffs. Got to beat the Bills next week, so don't go Bills next week. What else did I have on here that I didn't put? I found aged Sophie from Goose Island. That was worthy of being on that list. Captain Lawrence Classic Lager. Nickelbrook Cafe del Bastardo. That I find everywhere in Jersey. I know I can rattle off 5 places within half an hour where I live and get that beer, and that beer is fucking bonkers. Thomas Opent from Thomas Opent Beer Review over in Netherlands. He just recorded that for a review, so when he puts that up, check it out. Bitburger Sierra Nevada, their triple hopped lager. Dex Abbey, their Citra Brow hoppy lager. Kent Falls, I think it was their Sweatpants American Pale Ale. I think that's the one that I really dug. And that was kind of the honorable mentions. Yeah, really good stuff. Good stuff. So there you go. There's your Shelfies for 2020.